And that's the perfect example of why people need to read. He can Ash Blossom multi-figure all he wants. My effects cannot be negated. Skill Drain will stop many a deck, but not this one. ALTERGEIST. ALTERGEIST is a mid-range trap/monster combo deck that aims to control the board through bouncing your opponent's card back to hand, negating their cards, all while being totally untouchable thanks to their continuous trap, ALTERGEIST Protocol, which is the very card that makes it perfect for this new event. While ALTERGEIST Protocol is face up on the field, the activation and effect of your ALTERGEIST cards cannot be negated, neither by Skill Drain nor by anything else that your opponent tries to do. That means Imperms, Ash Blossoms, anything else that your opponent attempts to do to negate your ALTERGEIST cards will not work. Many people do not fully understand what that means and will attempt to negate your cards anyway, just for that to be ultimately useless, and Skill Drain is very much the same. While your monsters are technically negated by Skill Drain, their effects and the activation of their effects cannot be, so they still resolve as normal. Add to that once per turn you can send an ALTERGEIST card you control to the graveyard to negate the activation of one of your opponent's monster's effects and destroy that monster, means you're essentially also safe from effects that would activate in the hand and graveyard, which are very popular ways for your opponent to try and play around Skill Drain. And with the fact that this deck predominantly searches using monsters from its graveyard, it means that all in all, we're not ultimately too heavily impacted by the presence of Skill Drain. In fact, we would play it ourselves in our own deck. Cards like Meluseek and Hextia, which are primary searching cards, activate when sent to the graveyard, which essentially again is another layer of immunity to the Skill Drain. So not only are we playing through the Skill Drain and not being limited by it, we're also actively abusing it by limiting our opponent's movement and mobility while not impacting ours at all. So it's even better than playing under it. So today is going to be a rather straightforward video. I have a couple of replays from the Skill Drain test event that I want to show off, and we're going to be playing our final games live into the event to get our pack and have some fun. ALTERGEIST is a very fun deck for taking on this kind of things. I am going to be going into a full video on ALTERGEIST in the near future, so consider this a little bit of a primer. So if you want to catch that video or anything else that we do on this channel, feel free to subscribe to catch things as they come out and like this video to help us get it out to even more people. And if you have any suggestions, tips, or feedback about the editing style that we're using in this video, as well as our recent uploads, feel free to let me know down below if you have any suggestions, feedback, or anything else that you want to say. But without any further ado, let's get into the replays. Alrighty, opening up with our Protocol as well as our multi-faker in hand is pretty much the ideal scenario. I wanted to show this off at least once. 1-for-1's going to help us get access to our Meluseek, which is our primary sort of searching card to get a lot of our plays started. Luckily for us, the main card we want to have in hand is multi-faker, which we've already got. Basically, it plus any trap card that you can activate is essentially all you could possibly need. We're going to use Meluseek to search our deck for Conquery, which is going to give us Battlefield protection, and we're just going to pass it to our opponent since we've already got everything that we need. We're going to immediately flip up ALTERGEIST Protocol, triggering multi-faker to be summoned from the hand, which will activate to special summon Silquitis from the deck. Notice, these cards are negated, but their effects cannot be because of ALTERGEIST Protocol, so that means Skill Drain doesn't actually do anything to them. So we're going to play it out here. Our opponent seems to be playing some sort of draw-based strategy. We initially believed it to be Exodia, but, you know, who really knows, right? I guess we're about to find out. So we're going to pass back to us then. Silquitis is going to be pretty useful here because we're going to essentially draw a card, then we're going to bounce that card back to his hand, which is going to prevent him from being immune to damage. We're going to small world our way into ALTERGEIST Malwisp. Malwisp then, when added to hand except by drawing it, will special summon itself to field and then bring back our Meluseek from grave, essentially much like Poplar. So now we're going to use our 2 monster ship. We're going to link summon into ALTERGEIST Hextia. Hextia is a very powerful card because it allows you to negate spells and traps. We're going to grab Pukari from our deck, which we can then use from hand as link material, much like Microcoder and other sort of coder monsters that you've likely seen in the past, to summon out ALTERGEIST Prime Banshee. Now, Hextia in the graveyard, as well as Pukari in the graveyard, are both going to activate. Pukari is going to add itself back to the hand, which only happens once per duel. but is still a really useful resource generation tool. Hexstay then grabbing us Altergeist Manifestation, any Altergeist card at all, but we need Manifestation here. We're going to tribute Silquitas to grab ourselves our Multi-Faker, then Marionetter's going to bring back the Silquitas that we just sent to grave before we link summon yet again into the new link for Altergeist, Admenia. Admenia allows you to essentially quick play steal an opponent's monster, which is simply insane, but on summon you also get to set any Altergeist trap of your choosing. We're going to grab back Marionetter off of our Prime Banshee. Admenia then going to set our Altergeist Protocol to the field. We're going to normal summon Marionetter just for some additional damage, just shy of lethal unfortunately. We may have been able to do this slightly differently to go for lethal damage. I'm not going to pretend to be the most experienced Altergeist pilot out there. So if there was a lethal lane, let me know. They're going to go for Chicken Game once again, paying 1,000 life points. Hand Destruction, interesting. We're going to drop 2, draw 2. They're going to go Hand Destruction again. I had to say, don't really like what you're up to, Chief. Something about this doesn't seem right. I'm going to hit that with Ash Blossom. Seems to be digging through his deck for a card here. I'm not overly sure what. They're going to go Magical Mallet then. Magical Mallet going to select and shuffle back all 4 cards in his hand, drawing 4 new ones, activating Upstart Goblin. Now going to use Pot of Desires to draw 2 by banishing 10. At that point I knew he wasn't playing Exodia. Gonna go into the void, drawing cards infinitely just to play a reversal quiz, sending all of his cards to the graveyard to guess the type of card on top of his deck. If he calls it right, we trade life points. He calls spells, and sure enough, it's a spell, so he goes up to 9,000 life points, we go down to 300, and one of the cards he sent to the graveyard was Black Pendant, so we actually take 500 points of damage and lose the game. So again, the deck, this game showed off a lot of the things that I want to show off for Altergeist, and it was a really funny game. I just never saw that coming. I didn't know that was an actual deck and strategy. If it's something that you're familiar with, kudos. It's not something I've ever seen before, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. So I wanted to show this game off, especially more so for my opponent's stuff. But again, that game showed perfectly how all of our cards are operating under skill drain and how we're setting up all this advantage and having our link climbs and everything. So it was still a really good game for Altergeist nonetheless, but our opponent walks away with possibly the cheesiest win I have ever seen in my life. Already getting in the game 2 here. Luckily for us, that first replay was the only one that we lost. We're going to normal summon our Meluseek here, linking that off. You'll notice in our hand, there's a couple of cards you're probably not going to see again later on. I was playing Effect Veiler, which is a great card in regular Altergeist for the ladder. Not great in a skill drain event, so we did later take this out. We're going to grab Multi-Faker from our deck, setting a card, and passing, right? So this much more of a tame replay. The deck does function very odd in a way where you kind of have to have more traps, and that's an alteration I've made to the deck since our opponent playing Earth Machine. This game was incredible. This game was honestly insane. It doesn't look like much right now, but trust me, this gets mental. So our skill drain is gone. So they're going to try with their field spell. I'm going to ask that. I've never seen a field spell before in my life, so I don't really want to dance around with that. They're going to go Furion here. We're going to max in response to the Furion, so try to get some sort of semblance of card advantage here off of their turn. I think they're going to try to OTK, but we'll link Karibo on the board. It's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to do. They're going to go for the Super Express Bullet Train, summoning itself out to the field, into the battle phase, swinging with their Furion, going down to 0, taking their 3k life, and they're just simply going to pass under the maxi. They don't want to give us too many cards, and I absolutely respect that. We drew, however, into a couple of really neat cards. We're going to Small World here. We're going to reveal Ash in our deck, dropping that Veiler. Going to grab ourselves a Conquery. Pretty neat, a battle phase protection. We're going to set a card and we're going to end. That's not a case of us not having anything to do. The Altergeist Protocol is our play. They're going to drop Citadel to grab the Night Express Knight from their deck. They're going to normal summon that to the field, who, because its effect is negated, goes back up to 3,000 attack points. We're going to go for Altergeist Protocol, chaining to that our Altergeist Conquery. Conquery then coming out to the field. Altergeist Protocol resolving. Conquery is going to negate the field spell so long as it's face up. A Multi-Faker then is going to summon itself out to the field. Multi-Faker then, when summoned, will summon out Silquitas to the field. Silquitas going to bounce our Multi-Faker back to give him back that Night Express Knight. He would just have been able to special summon the others back anyways, but that Magic Planter gets rid of the last remaining skill drain. That's actually a bad thing for us because we really like that skill drain. That was pretty useful for us. So now we're just playing a regular game against Earth Machine. We're going to go Marionetta them. Machina Overdrive. They're going to pop their train in order to special summon the Fortress out from their deck. Fortress being a pretty impressive card due to the fact that it can constantly come back from the graveyard. Citadel then activating in the graveyard. We're going to send Marionetter from our field to the grave to negate the activation of the Citadel. So Protocol serving multiple purposes, not only protecting our monsters from being negated, but also actively negating our opponents. We're going to link 2 using the Pukari in our hand. We're going to go into our Hextia. Hextia being one of the big bads of the deck, really. It's one of the biggest consistency tools that we possibly have. We're going to go Pukari then. We're going to go Amphias, because again, we have plays and methods of generating resources here. So you constantly look like, and even sometimes feel like you're on the back foot, but that's just not how these decks work. You need to sort of like think outside the box and change how your mind operates when it comes to these types of decks. Our arrow placement could have been slightly better here. But look at that, look at how quickly we just generated all of those resources. So what exactly happened there? We activated Manifestation to bring back Sulquitus because we used Trap. We grabbed our Multi-Faker summoned out Malwis. Malwis then brings back the Meluseek, and just like that, we've got a full board. We are walled up, right? They're going to start summoning shit from deck here. They're going to go into a rank 10. Now, this card in particular, the Super Dreadnought, Real Cannon, whatever the hell. So this guy can basically make another one of his cards totally immune to card effects. So we need to dance around that one quite carefully, but I do have a plan, and you're going to see that come together. They're going to go double-headed Augur Knuckle. They're going to bring back the train from the graveyard, ditching the Ruin Force, which is brutal because it's going to come right out at 4,600 attack points, being used in an Exceed summon as a level 10 machine for the Sky Palace Gun, whatever that says. Now, this is when we decide to make our move, returning Manifestation back to the hand, which is going to reduce our overall vulnerability to his plays, to bounce that back to the field. Then we're going to go ALTERGEIST Protocol to get rid of the Super Dreadnought Real Cannon that would otherwise have protected it, dealing with both of his rank 10s at the same time. So that is both of them gone, all of that shit to the graveyard. Meluseek then grabbing us another Multi-Faker for follow-up. They're going to banish more cards for their Ruin Force, though. They really are gunning to basically wear us down as much as they possibly can. Shuffle back 3, draw 1, drawing in the Machina Redeployment. What a fucking crazy draw. Grabbing Machina Fortress and the Machina Citadel from their deck. They're going to drop the Citadel here to summon out the Fortress into the battle phase. They're going to take out Hextia. We are immune to damage thanks to their field spell. Hextia then activating, but they are going to get negated. ALTERGEIST Protocol only protects the activation and effects of face-up ALTERGEIST cards, which is usually enough, but unfortunately against our opponent right here, they think they're going to scare us and thinking they got lethal. They ain't got shit. They're going to end their turn. Now, we are at 2,500 life points, our opponent's at 4k. We're really going to have to pull something out of the bag to make this one work, but like I said earlier on, that first game was the only one that we lost, so we're going to have some serious plays to make up if we're going to win this shit this turn. So we draw in the small world, that's where we're going to start. We're going to reveal Ash Blossom in the deck, we're going to get rid of Multi-Faker, grabbing ourselves the ALTERGEIST Malwisp. Malwisp then going to summon itself out to the field. Augur Knuckle going to respond, sending the Real card, bringing back the Citadel. But it is negated, so the Citadel isn't exactly a massive threat right now, but it is another body. Malwisp then going to come out. Malwisp going to bring back the Meluseek from the graveyard. Revolving Switch Shard going to activate, so if a level 10 Earth Machine is summoned to the field, they can summon another one from the deck, a level 4 one, and then make its level 10. They're going to bring out the Meluseek so we can link summon into yet another copy of Hextia. Hextia is a very useful card, and you're going to see why in just a moment. We're going to grab Marionetter from our deck. We have yet to normal summon the Marionetter. We're going to play our ALTERGEIST Haunted, whatever that said, onto the field. We're going to send Protocol to the grave to bring back the Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker then activating to summon another Meluseek from the deck. We didn't exactly have a lot of options left. We're going to go Pukari using the Hextia on the field to go into the Prime Banshee, and this is where the link climb starts. We're going to use Hextia, grabbing the Multi-Faker from our deck to the hand, constantly generating resources, linking off yet again into the new link for Admenia. Admenia is an amazing card here, and you're going to see just the absolute ridiculousness that it can do. Prime Banshee and Admenia activating both of its effects at once, sending Meluseek to the graveyard to target and steal the Ruin Force. Not only is it stolen, it's treated as an ALTERGEIST card, and that is very, very important because we're going to set Protocol, then we're going to link into the ALTERGEIST Hextia. Hextia then gains the attack points of an ALTERGEIST card at points 2, gaining 4,600 attack points, capable of swinging over the Augur Knuckle for game. just again showing off just how incredible the deck is. Its versatility is unreal. It can weather basically any storm you throw at it. It constantly feels like you're struggling or you're behind, or at least it looks that way to the untrained eye or to your opponent. They think that you're struggling. You most certainly are not. You're just setting up, you're betting your time to win the game in a spectacular fashion, just like this. Alright, getting into our third and final replay for this one. We're going to normal summon the Mileuseek. We're going to use it and the Pukari in our hand to link off into our Altergeist Hextia. Hextia is the primary tool that we use to get access to the majority of our tools. We're going to go Mileuseek and Pukari from the graveyard. Again, just the resource generation is honestly insane. Like, you are forever, every time you make a player send something to the grave, you're grabbing something, right? Something is being grabbed. We're going to summon out the Malwisp here. Unfortunately, it is negated because we do not yet have our Altergeist protocol on the field. We're going to use these 3 cards to go into Altergeist Prime Banshee. I should mention, this duel actually turned out to be against one of our Discord members, which was very interesting. We're going to go the Small World here, banishing a card. We're going to grab the Multi-Faker from our deck using Marionetter as a bridge, and we're going to pass our turn back to our opponent. I'm fairly certain that this is using the most up-to-date version of the deck. They're going to go Sky Striker Mega Modules, which is a really cool way of getting rid of the skill drain. So if you're playing a deck that doesn't really like playing skill drain, then the multi-roll is a very efficient way of getting rid of it. Multi-Faker then coming out, bringing out the Mileuseek, because unfortunately our Silquitis is in our hand, which is why I have since added a second copy, which is a bit pain in the ass, but it is what it is. They're going to go Raigeki though. Raigeki wiping the field. We're immune to being negated, but we ain't immune to having our fucking shit rocked. So the Raigeki absolutely stinks. Prime Banshee going to bring back Malwisp from the grave. Mileuseek adding Conqueror to the hand, and just like that, we're right back to where we started. Malwisp is going to bring back the Multi-Faker from the graveyard. They're going to go for Eldritch the Golden Lord, dropping 2 to get rid of our Altergeist protocol. I'm not going to let that happen. We're going to send the Malwisp to the grave. We're going to negate that effect. We want to keep that Altergeist protocol on the field as long as we possibly can. They're going to go Eldritch the Golden Lord, pitching their cross out Designator. I'm going to hit him with the draw 1 maxi, I guess. We might as well, while the card is in our hand, get as much advantage out of it as we possibly can, even if it isn't really very much. They're going to summon out their otherwise very intimidating 3500 Beatstick. I'm not really worried about it because we do have the Conqueror already. We're going to negate the attack, negating his multi-roll until the end of the turn. That's when he goes for Nibiru. The absolute mad lad is going to summon out 2 cards. It gives us a rather sizable token here, but he does manage to wipe our board for a second time in the same turn. They're going to go for Pot of Prosperity here. Pot of Prosperity banishing 6 to reveal the top 6 of the deck. Again, Prosperity, a pretty good card. Your extra deck isn't super tight, so you can usually afford to get rid of 6 cards. We're going to grab Temple of the Kings, which is one of the cheesier cards, I'll admit it. We're going to use it to activate Revitalization pretty much right away. We're going to bring back the Prime Banshee, normal summon Silquitis. Prime Banshee tributes Silquitis to summon the Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker then activates, as does Silquitis, to grab back the Revitalization. So the Temple of the Kings is primarily here to utilize Altergeist Protocol on the first turn, but it does also allow a ton of really cheesy setup. So now we're going to go into our link for Altergeist Admenia. We're going to use Admenia's effect. We're going to play a trap onto the field. Prime Banshee then going to activate to add a card back to hand. Mileuseek adding the search a deck for a card. Just again, insane resource loops. You just grab, there you go. There's a Malwisp being added to hand. Prime Banshee then going to add Multi-Faker to hand. And then we're going to go Admenia to set our manifestation directly to the field. Malwisp activating again to summon itself, activating to summon back the Silquitis from the graveyard. Changing to attack mode here. We're going to take out this monster, 35 to the face, and then 3k to the 1500 to the face. The reason we didn't take his token and go for lethal is because of Prosperity. The damage that we would inflict would be halved. They're going to go with the Golden Lord, sending the multi-roll, adding itself back to hand. We could have negated that using Protocol, but we literally don't even need to, because he summons the Golden Lord, and that shit is now mine. We're going to drop the Malwisp, steal the Golden Lord, Silquitis, during the end phase, bounce that shit back to hand. It is nothing. Into our turn, suddenly we've got the 3 biggest monsters on the field. Our opponent's got nothing, 37 and 35 for lethal. Excellent game, showing off the trickiness of the deck. We got our field wiped twice in that game, and we still found a way. Pretty awesome overall. We have not actually finished the event yet though, so I've got one more game to win, and you're going to win it with me. Alrighty, winning our coin toss. That's a good start. We're going to go first here. So going first, essentially if we open up ALTERGEIST Protocol and or any of our other major starters, Seek, anything like that, there's a Seek as well as Small World. Sulquitus in hand would be more annoying, but we did recently make a change to the deck to where we can kind of cope with this a little bit better, which is awesome. There is Skill Drain in play. Seek gets us access to a monster. Yeah, we can make this work. Alright, we're gonna go Small World then. Are you going to Ash Blossom me? He is not. Alright, we're going to banish the Sulquitus then. Sulquitus not really very good in hand. We're going to banish a card from our deck. Our objective is to get to Pukari. So we're going to banish a card that has one thing in common with Pukari, which could be basically any of our ALTERGEIST cards. As long as it's not dark, it'll do. Yeah, Marionetter gets us there. And we're going to grab Pukari. Pukari is pretty important, so it is, for a number of reasons. So now that we've got that in hand, we're going to go for our Seek. Awesome. Now Hextia is going to make its way out. We're going to use it and Pukari. Our Seek and Pukari, I should clarify. Bringing out the Hextia. Alright, now you can trigger these in whatever order you want. Usually you want to go Pukari as your second effect though, just because, you know, you don't really want your Seek to get ashed. Seek is, its resolution is fairly important here. In a full power version of the deck, it may be slightly different, because you will have access to back row and all of that. But for now, damn, we have a lot of cards we can add. Realistically, you usually want to go for Malwisp here, because you want Hextia and Grave, which is the big thing. Alright, perfect. Malwisp makes its way out. It is still technically negated by Skill Drain, so a little unfortunate, but it's fine. So we're gonna now, you've got a few options, right? You can go into Prime Banshee if you want. Promethean Princess is also a very good option. Usually it's a little bit better if you have other spellcaster options available to you. At this present moment, we do not. So Prime Banshee is what we're gonna go for. Perfect. Hextia then is going to activate. Going to grab ourselves our ALTERGEIST Protocol. Perfect. Okay, now we are pretty much set up. Alright, Prime Banshee is going to be able to grab us stuff. Yeah, this is generally a pretty solid situation, especially considering the hand traps that we have. These particular sort of lineup of cards in hand should be very productive. Again, sort of mostly depending on what our opponent's playing. Maxi is honestly kind of weak in this event, just because most of the decks you're playing into are entirely back row heavy, or are, you know, Eldritch or things like that. So honestly, I've been super tempted to drop Maxi in favor of even more sort of ALTERGEIST gas. There is zero reason for me to proactively use this card. If I don't need to use it there and then, I shouldn't. Terrors of the Overroot, a very powerful trap card. So again, essentially what you're ideally looking to do is with ALTERGEIST Protocol, you can send your Prime Banshee to the graveyard to negate something, and then Prime Banshee will grab you back something like your Malwisp. Malwisp then will be able to bring back the Seek, and you just sort of start your resource loop. We didn't need to do that because our opponent is a pussy and didn't make any plays. So now we cannot just have free reign, I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna flip our ALTERGEIST Protocol. So Prime Banshee now is no longer negated, so we can normal summon our Pukari. Alright, have you got anything you want to say about that? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Oh, Torrential Tribute, I see. That's a... shit, that's a problem. Okay. Let's just summon... Okay, that is a problem. We're gonna go for Prime Banshee. Prime Banshee is gonna tribute off the Pukari. Now, whatever we summon is going to get destroyed by Torrential Tribute, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we will simply cope. So now we get to summon something to get destroyed. Meluseek is the obvious choice. Now, when both are destroyed, they're going to go to the grave, of course, but that's not where the story ends, because we get to, again, regenerate most of the advantage that we otherwise would have lost. So Meluseek will search from deck, and Prime Banshee will grab back from graveyard. So because we're searching for cards, we can actually grab back the likes of Malwisp, which is exceptionally useful. Malwisp, its effect will activate no matter where it's added from. As long as it's added to your hand, it doesn't matter if it's from deck or from graveyard, its effect to special summon itself from hand will proc regardless. So we're going to be able to search our deck for something pretty useful here. Have we normal summoned? We have normal summoned, which means we probably want to grab the multi-figure. Alright, then Malwisp will activate, summon itself right out to the field. Perfect. Malwisp then will activate to bring back a card from the graveyard. It does summon the card in defense, which means, unfortunately, no link monsters. I have a feeling that that was the express purpose behind such a limitation. And look at that, just like that, our opponent doesn't even want to play the game. They couldn't deal with the resources. That happens a lot. Fair enough. I guess we'll try to get one more. We are now officially done with the event, but no harm in doing one more. So we are going to lose the coin toss, but go first. That is concerning. Okay. Well, I guess our opponent really can only be playing one of a few strategies, and this is a pretty decent hand, actually. This is a really good hand. Okay, perfect. You never really like to see Malwisp in your opening hand, but everything else here is so good that I can't really complain. So now we're going to use our Meluseek and our Pukari here. We are going to go into Hextia pretty much right off the bat. Man, we don't even really need to get rid of Hextia, because we've already got these. Damn, yeah, this hand is awesome. So Meluseek is going to grab us Multi-Faker here, and Pukari's just going to add itself back to hand, so we're right back to having 5 cards in hand. This deck's nuts. It's really good at generating resources, which is like the key thing, right? So yeah, we're definitely just adding Multi-Faker to hand here, for sure. Setting up additional interruption for our opponent's turn. We've already got the ALTERGEIST protocol. We don't need to do anything else fancy with this guy. It can just stay there. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, so now we're going to flip up the ALTERGEIST protocol pretty quickly, because we kind of want to get some protection on board here. So, yep, that resolves. Perfect. Multi-Faker then. We're going to activate the Multi-Faker. We're going to summon it out to the field. Perfect. We're going to summon it, ideally, not underneath your Hextia, and you kind of want to use the Multi-Faker's effect to summon Silquitus, and then summon Silquitus underneath Hextia. And that's the perfect example of why people need to read. He can Ash Blossom Multi-Faker all he wants. My effects cannot be negated. We will summon Silquitus. I knew it happened. It had to happen at least once in the video, right? Where someone would try to Ash one of our cards. Oh, that's beautiful. Alright, main phase 1. So basically, we're looking to use our Silquitus right away. That's unfortunate. Okay. Skill drain is gone. That's interesting. So I guess this guy actually needs to use effects. Why even play? What? Why would you do this? This is such a weird way to go about this. What? Alright, so we're going to go for Silquitus here. I'm just going to bounce the normal summon back to hand, because, like, the... Yup. So we bounce the Multi-Faker and his monster back to hand, and then Hextia contributes Silquitus to negate a spell or trap, and yeah, you know what? I think we'll call it there. That was great. I wanted to get at least one section where they try to Ash our Multi-Faker. And there you have it. There are definitely a few cards in here that I'm playing for the memes and strictly for the memes. You know, Scrap Iron Scarecrow, Temple of the Kings. Cards like these really don't need to be here. You do favor a sort of more trap heavy count. So you probably want to, again, if you're playing in the actual like real life format, you're going to be playing things like Imperm and stuff, so you do have more traps. I'm going to be making a video on this deck in the future of a full power version for the ranked ladder, as opposed to this little event. So if you want to catch that, make sure you subscribe, stick around, and like this video to help even more people see it. But I'm not going to take up any more time here this evening. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.